There's a moment when two people connect that transcends ordinary interaction, creating a bond that feels both new and ancient simultaneously. What if certain connections aren't random encounters, but profound alignments that reveal deeper truths about who we are? Carl Jung's exploration of human relationships uncovered a remarkable phenomenon. When two people connect at the soul level, they create a resonance that goes beyond surface attraction. This isn't about fate or destiny in the traditional sense. It's about psychological and spiritual alignment that occurs when two individuals vibrate at complementary frequencies. When this happens, something extraordinary unfolds, not just between them, but within each of them separately. The most profound connections don't complete us. They reveal the completeness that was already there. Have you ever met someone and felt an immediate sense of recognition, as if you were reuniting with a part of yourself you'd forgotten existed? This experience points to what Jung identified as the meeting of authentic selves beyond the masks we wear daily. Within every person exists what he called the journey toward wholeness, the innate drive to integrate all aspects of our being. When we encounter someone who reflects back our essential nature, this process accelerates dramatically. The connection feels profound, not because they fill a void within us, but because they help us remember the wholeness we already possess. Jung discovered that our most meaningful relationships spring from this mutual recognition of authentic selves. This understanding has nothing to do with finding our missing half. It's about two whole people coming together and creating something greater than either could alone. The deepest connections occur between people who are already complete within themselves. This psychological insight requires looking beyond romantic notions of soulmates and into how human consciousness actually connects. Jung mapped the territory of human relationship dynamics, identifying patterns that govern our deepest bonds. One of the most powerful realizations he shared involves what happens when we stop seeking completion in others and instead cultivate our own wholeness. When you approach relationships from a place of self-possession rather than neediness, you create what Jung termed relational clarity, the space where genuine connection can flourish without desperation or manipulation. This clarity isn't empty. It's filled with potential for authentic relating. It allows others to meet the real you, not a version crafted to earn love or avoid abandonment. The key lies in understanding three psychological principles that distinguish profound connections from temporary entanglements. The first principle is self-completion before connection. This involves achieving a state of inner wholeness before seeking deep partnership. Most people approach relationships from what Jung called the seeking self, the part that believes something external will make them complete. But when you learn to relate from your center of self-possession, you create a different relational dynamic. This isn't about being perfectly healed or having no needs. It's about having a fundamental sense of your own worth that isn't dependent on any single relationship. When someone enters your life, they should encounter a person already grounded in self-respect and purpose, not someone looking to be saved or completed. This fulfills a deep human need for authentic relating. Psychology confirms this dynamic. When we relate from wholeness, our connections become more stable and fulfilling. You become associated not with desperation, but with genuine presence. The second principle is the mirror of relationship. Our closest connections inevitably show us aspects of ourselves we might otherwise avoid seeing. In a world that encourages surface-level interaction, allowing relationships to reveal our hidden dimensions becomes remarkably transformative. Jung emphasized the importance of what he called shadow work, the process of acknowledging and integrating our disowned qualities. When you have relationships that honestly reflect back who you are, including your growing edges and blind spots, you naturally evolve. This isn't about criticism or fault-finding. It's about having connections that help you see yourself more completely. Your most meaningful relationships should be like clear mirrors that show you both your strengths and areas for growth, not distorted reflections that only show what you want to see. This touches on a fundamental psychological truth. We grow most in relationships that challenge us to become more authentic. The third principle is perhaps the most liberating: purposeful connection. This involves understanding that different relationships serve different purposes in our growth journey. Every meaningful connection has something to teach us, but not all are meant to last forever. When we release the expectation that every deep connection must be permanent, we open ourselves to learning from each relationship exactly what it has to offer. This isn't about being non-committal or avoiding intimacy. It's about honoring the natural lifespan of connections and recognizing that some people come into our lives for specific seasons and lessons. When you appreciate each connection for what it teaches you rather than how long it lasts, you free yourself from clinging to relationships that have completed their purpose. This allows space for new connections that match who you're becoming. These three principles work together to create what we might call conscious connection, relating based not on neediness or fantasy, but on mutual growth and authentic presence. When someone experiences this with you, the bond transcends superficial attraction. They associate you with their own evolution and self-discovery. You become part of their journey toward greater self-awareness. This creates relationships that are both deeply meaningful and spiritually nourishing. Let's explore how these principles translate into practical relational wisdom.